Yeah. Another good environment for us. I think we're excited to play another home game. That was big for our crew. And I think tonight we are finally able to really unleash the depth. And I thought that was crucial for where this team's going and how we can play a lot of different ways. And then obviously, Mitch's team, Coach Henderson, my first boss, his teams are hard to play. And watching that Kansas game, and watching how they developed from Akron to John Jay, all the way through Kansas, you start to look and understand how they're playing and how they could really be a lot different than us. And I'm thankful that we were able to defend the way we were to start the game and continue it throughout, and then also be able to go through some lulls, but obviously be able to push it back when we needed to and have some different versatile lineups that led us there. So thankful for that, and obviously good to be 4-0.
Dan, 4-0, you see the trust that the players have in one another and that they have in you. How much have you grown yourself as a coach the first couple of weeks, and how much more trust do you have in yourself?
Yeah, I think you just got to go through the experiences. My only experience in the seat was a G League season that was nuts. And I think for me, it was really about the first scrimmage, 2 weeks later, the second scrimmage. And really just in my own world, finding my routine, finding my consistency. I preach it all the time. It's time for me to do it, and that's been big for me personally, to be able to find my routine in this seat. And I think our preparation, like I said last game, our consistency is, I believe, above average, and I'm hopeful that mine continues to be.
When Denver was in here a few minutes ago, and when Iona and Rice played last year in the Bahamas, so I was able to ask him, how do you carry the experience that he has, and I'm sure the other guys have played in a tournament setting like that, where you have a lot of distractions, beautiful surroundings. I'll ask you the same question. How do you get these guys focused in a situation like that?
Yeah, the empathetic version of me, we did a horrible job at Richmond. We played in the Bahamas in the first battle for Atlantis, whatever it was. But it was one game. It wasn't a tournament. We were the demo, and we went a little bit too early and probably had a little bit too much fun in the sun, and we did not play well. So for me, I think it's about understanding what we're after. I'm thankful it's 3 games and 4 nights. Our depth needs to provide something for us. We're going to go through some ups and downs. It's going to be, unique gym, unique setup, unique surroundings. So for us, it's about our preparation. We have our 2 days out, 1 day out, scouts, tomorrow and Thursday. And I think for our guys, it's about what are we after? You can't win a championship without winning the first one. And I think how we do the schedule, we kind of potted these first 4 games, and now this tournament is a great rep for us in what we're going to see in March in Atlantic City.
About the depth, you played 13 different guys tonight, 11 of them scored. Do you plan on continuing to use a deep rotation going forward?
Yeah, I think so. The pace of the game determines a lot of it, and tonight we felt comfortable in our pace. I don't know if you ever see it, but one of our analytic coaches behind the bench, he has a pitch counter for the pace. So he keeps me informed pretty consistently where we're at, and that's kind of our real-time decision-making. Really used to it in the NBA, the real-time decision-making with the data. So we're trying to create that environment as best we can. But when we play, I think it was a 77 pace tonight, we're gonna play 11 guys pretty consistently that way.
Coach, in your preparation, did you ever imagine you'd beat Princeton by 20?
Probably not. I think we knew we had to hit singles per media timeout. That's the one thing. That style, I know a good amount about that style. For a while, it was half my life. I only knew Princeton way. Yeah. So that style really lulls you, and it's a great way to play basketball. It's very selfless, cutting schemes, and puts a lot of pressure on defenses. So for me, it was about that start, but then how do we keep hitting singles on defense? We talk about it a ton on offense, but how do we keep doing it defensively? Because that's how they get backdoor. Then you overreact, backdoor kick out. Now it's backdoor kick out. Now they drive middle. That's another backdoor or another cutting scheme to get another 3. That's when you got to start dealing with a lot of that snowball effect.
I talked about Mitch giving you your first job 15 years ago.
Yeah.
What do you think he saw in you then, and how grateful are you to him for helping you grow?
Mitch Henderson basically like made my mentality. When I was 23, I just got done playing. He hired me, in an incredible way. Gave me my first opportunity, and really like the way he instilled like a head coach's mentality in me very quickly. He made me like a big picture thinker, and I truly believe like he made me a big picture thinker. Like I owe him, and what he's done there. I owe all my, whatever you want to call it, journey, success, failures, all to him, because without him, I don't think I ever had that mentality. And there's a different world where if things go differently in my life, I'm probably sitting on that bench still with him. You know what I mean? It's a special place. It's a great basketball job, and I think with the support and everything that they have there, it's such an exciting place to coach and be a part of. So I really owe him. I mean, debt of gratitude's a great way to put it, but I probably owe him like everything. We've stayed in touch through the years and through my crazy journey. And now obviously still being, friends and all that good stuff. But I think when he first hired me, it was all about relationships, and that was big. It was all about the player relationship. We had Brian Earl, we had Marcus Jenkins on staff, and they were just like elite minds, and for what they've done in their careers as well. But we had such a great staff, and it was really about me being the bond to the players, the bridge to the players. So I think that's what he saw in me to start. And then as we got into it, it was a really great bond that Mitch and I formed. And I love him. I love the way he coaches. I love him as a person. I can't say enough about him.
To your point about the lineup, there was one time where you had Cozy at the 2, another time where you had Sottile and 4 guards. What does that do for you, for the opposition, like as you think through what you're putting out on the floor?
Yeah, I think the biggest piece with the lineups is how long are we doing it for, and then what do they have on the court as well. So I think that was one thing we wanted to look at when they started making some adjustments and subs. That was good for us. We had to unlock some different components of what we were after, and that's where I think Chase Cormier being able to play that long and those extended runs was big, because we're just really thinking about how we're matching up pretty consistently. For us internally, it's really about what our usage looks like, and really how many shooters we have on the floor, how many bigs we have on the floor, like spacers and bigs. That's where you saw Lamine with 4 guards. In my world, he's also probably the guard as well. So it's him with spacers, and that really opens us up to different ways to play. And our hope is we're so versatile that when you're watching us, you're just wondering like where are they going, and then how do they match us. That's a big thing for where I think we're going.
What's the significance of the man in the arena?
Yeah, it's Brian Byer did a great job with that tonight. It's a quote in our locker room, and I think it means a lot to me. It's gonna be a little long here, but like LeBron James has it in his locker when I first met him and all that good stuff. And I think for me, as we got to develop and go through the relationships and make these bonds throughout the NBA, a big thing for me was asking him about man in the arena at times, and Red's on his shoes every game. A lot of different things there. But a big deal for me as I kept studying that and understanding the quote, and I said it to our team, it really is about this is a whole new team. This is 13 new guys. I mean, Jungers is retained, but he doesn't know any of these guys. So who do you want to be? What type of man do you want to be when you're in the arena? It's easy to say, the critics and everything, and I understand the point of the quote, but for me and our team, it's who do we want to be? And for me personally, the way we're doing the whatever you want to call it, the thunder get-togethers after the game and everything, that's who we want to be. We want to be the right men in the arena, and that's a big deal for where we're going, because we're going to put, we talked about it in Kansas City, we're going to talk about it at St. Thomas, we're going to talk about it at Delaware. This is a new arena for all of us, and even tonight, it wasn't a sold-out crowd, like Friday night was, but it's a new arena for us each and every time. So it means a lot to me personally. I try not to put that on the guys, but that one meant a lot to me because I think it resonates with where we're at and what we're doing.
Coach, I think this was the first game you guys led in rebounding. Despite the great start, is that something you guys been talking about in practices?
I think we've been talking about it. But I think a big thing for us, like in Hofstra, what happened, we stopped making them miss in the second half. It wasn't as though, even tonight, I think they had 13 offensive rebounds and only 6 second chance points. So even when they get it, they continue to compete in what we're after and where we're going with it. Because we're really dialed in on the shot profile of offensively how we're playing and defensively what we're giving up. Sometimes some of it's low-hanging fruit where you need to sometimes just get it, and we've been talking about those ones for sure. But when other guys are making extraordinary efforts to do something against us, we're okay with that because then they got to make another extraordinary play to try and score on us as well.
Coach, Princeton had got off to a pretty good start offensively and just getting out to an early lead against a quality Kansas team.
Yeah.
What did you identify about them on film that allowed that, for you guys to combat that defensively with kind of the effort and the effectiveness that you guys had early on and got to early lead yourselves?
Yeah, some tricks to the trade of the Princeton offense that I have. I had a set of skills in that thing. So for me, it was about understanding how they were getting their good starts, how they were getting the shots they were after, and then feeling them on film. And that's what I told our guys is I want us to come out, hit first, do everything we're after, but then you got to really settle into the game. And I don't know if you could. I was yelling it a lot, probably a little too much tonight, but it's settle in and everything up the floor. That's all we were after is let them, in a sense, try to outshot profile us that way rather than I know how it goes. They used to throw those backdoor passes probably better than anybody. But I think that was kind of, when you do that, it really makes your defense a little looser. And our thing tonight was after the emotional win versus Fordham, how do we tighten up and take our preparation correct, dial in, and really get this thing where we want it?
I want to piggyback off of that a little bit. Early on, Princeton seemed to really enjoy dishing it into the low post, and then eventually, how did you kind of force them to stop going to what they're comfortable to? Because they stopped going to that later on, and then.
Yeah, I think you try to the Princeton offense is difficult because you try to establish inside first and then go outside. So when we saw that and understood that, it's that play we used to run at Richmond all the time and all that. But I think then you start to see them shoot up to the middle of the floor into that Princeton world, and that's where we had to force catches out. If there's a heat map, you want to make them catch it further away from the basket as much as possible. When they caught it inside the 3-point line, I bet you their rating was 120. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard to cover that. So for us, it was about understanding it's like a fist fight in the post. But then when they shoot up to play in the Princeton 5-out, we got to make our ways, use our athleticism, push that catch out, then back up, then get back when they start dribbling. It's a very tedious process, and I thought Lamine, it was good for him. It's great for Aliu to go through that and play that kind of situation. So I thought we got into it a little bit, and then I think in the first half we kind of lost it a little, lost our mind, our mindful way, and then good to get it back in the second half and continue to build.
Yeah, Dan, that was certainly a strong lead your guys kept throughout the game tonight. Now, how did you get them to keep up their momentum during the second half there?
Yeah, I think the big thing is we can't get tired of offense. I think that's what happened against Hofstra, and it's trying to get our team to understand. The way we play is very it's quick, and we have a lot of what's the word, spurtability.
Yeah.
Spurtability. We have a lot of that. Great, that's awesome. Keep going. We don't need to hold tight and try to manipulate. When we manipulate, we've just been a little bit below average, and I don't like. I don't love that as much when we try to manipulate the game and work. We believe with all the dribbling and passing, we can continue to find decision makers and continue to find the looks we're after. And I thought that was the key tonight. We just continue to play offense.
How'd you unlock Denver tonight?
Something with the lineups, but we played them a little bit differently with different bigs, and I think that helped them a lot.
Coach, any chance you and on Friday go over 200 points?
There's definitely a chance. We'll see what that Vegas line is. We'll see what it looks like there. See what that looks like. But I think, neutral court. I think unique things happen, and we'll see what the gym's like. We have some good time down there. We leave tomorrow morning, and we get down there and spend some time there and see what it looks like, see how it feels, and see what we can do.
There was a play where on the break, Cormier from underneath the basket kind of like pitched it back to Toby for
Yeah.
a three, and you turned around.
Yeah.
Like, was that like a particular impactful moment? For you?
Yeah, I think when you're increasing those decisions, when our guys are, we call it throwing strikes, when those shooters, which I believe, this is why I'm obsessed with dribbling and passing. We're gonna recruit shooting all the time here. I promise you guys that. We're always gonna have shooting, but the dribbling and passing, like when Chase Cormier makes those decision making like positives and finds Toby, and we all know what Toby's capable of. To me, like when you hit strikes like that and you hit singles in that world, it just really unlocks what we're after. I did it in Kansas City too when he came off a pick and roll off the dribble to his left and made that three for that as well. When that happens, like we can play so many different ways as we continue to improve these decision-making models, and that's what our player development is all structured about, is improving decision-making. So when that happened, that's like definitely gonna be clipped for tomorrow night's reflection, and he will get a hug for sure for that.
Last game, CJ was a scoring machine, and tonight he was dishing out the ball like his life depended on it.
Yeah.
So now that I know what he's like as a scorer, what can you tell me about him as a passer?
I think he's just really like he has such a great sense for the game, and that's why what I was talking about with him redshirting last year, he knew that he was going up against all these different coverages. And tonight, we try not to get into some of the same sets that we did, some of the same actions that we did against Fordham, because we don't want it to be like a security blanket for him. So that was good. I think he saw some different things. We ran some different actions, catch and shoot wise, and he's just like masterful in how he can orchestrate the game and manipulate what he wants to. But it's the balance. When he started over manipulating at the end of the first half, it slowed us down. So we want to continue to have the quickness of our minds to just continue to get to space and then not manipulate. And he's incredible at it when he's playing with those instincts.
Before 4 games in, forget the record.
Mm-hmm.
Is this team where you thought they would be after 4 games in terms of performance?
Yeah, I think after the scrimmages, we understood how our improvements happened. So for me, I think going through each individual experience has kind of proven to us that we are continuing to improve in like the bigger picture areas of play, end of game offense, end of game defense, and to have situational basketball. Like our situational basketball is improving, and I think I knew we were a smart team, and I knew we were pretty difficult to match up with. So I think I like where we're at. I think the improvements will continue to happen as we get into this new pod of the schedule, and then post Thanksgiving, what do we really look like?
Do you have a last question?
So do you feel that the team is playing to its full potential, or do you still feel like there's room to grow?
No, room to grow. I think we're just trying to figure this thing out. I know it's hard. I know that's very coach speak for being 4-0. I'm very proud of what we've done, and I'm very proud of our fortitude to win these games in different ways. I think for me though, the room to grow is like the different lineups, the different versions of us. We're continuing to figure those out as we play in all these different environments, and it goes back to the man in the arena quote. We're going to play in a different arena, a different idea, a different game. Like, what type of men are we going to be when we're in there and we're with each other? Are we together? Are we understanding the versatility? Are we understanding the big picture? All good? Thanks, guys.